So good morning, everybody. So this morning I do have some notes, so forgive me if I am looking at them and popping back in with you. I just want to make sure that I stay on topic because this is something that has been coming up for myself, and I know some of my peeps as well. And so I want to talk about grace and gratitude. And I know this month's topic is love and relationships, but I feel like grace and gratitude go hand in hand when it comes to having an ample supply of love for ourselves and people whom we have relationships with. Doesn't matter if it's in a romantic relationship or a friendship or a family relationship or a coworker. We always need to have that grace and gratitude for where we are and where that other person is as well. So one thing that I have been noticing is, and this is, I'm speaking from my own experience. So we have to be intentional when it comes to practicing grace and gratitude. But the stress, the busyness, the frustration, all of those things are second nature. And I started thinking, now, how can I switch that? How can I switch to where grace and gratitude for myself, like having grace for myself, holding space for myself, holding space for other people, and grace for other people when they slip up. Like, for example, my children, and it could be something little, like I've asked you to take that up, blah, 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 how many times? Up the stairs, whatever it is, the frustration of that. Like, how can I hold that space and have grace for them if, let's say, they have things now, sometimes maybe this isn't the best example, but it's what came to mind. So how can I be more intentional about using the grace and gratitude first and foremost, instead of connecting to the stress and the busyness and like, why do I do all the things and feeling overwhelmed? Why do I connect to that first instead of having grace and gratitude and then having like grace and gratitude glasses so that I can see things at a little bit of a different perspective and maybe, not stress myself out so much. So instead of using them, grace and gratitude, as tools on how to fix things, what if we started with them first? And I'm like, that's an awful lot. And my guides are like, let's start it. And I'm like, that's an awful lot of work, y'all. Like, for real. Like, what would that look like? And so here's some couple things that they brought to mind for me. So first and foremost, to have, like, what would it look like if I started doing that? It's having grace for uncertainty. So having grace for uncertainty. So when I'm not sure of something, or when I'm not exactly feeling secure in whatever's going on, or feeling so confident, I'm having grace for myself instead of getting frustrated that I don't know what's lying ahead, or that I don't know the decisions and the outcomes that are going to happen if I make this decision versus this decision. And so having that grace for myself and saying, hey, look, you just got to go with it, and remember to go with the flow. I am a control freak. I'm a recovering one. It's a battle, and I don't think I'll ever be like, oh yeah, I no longer struggle with that. That's just my thing. It's in my chart. It's in my astrology chart. But then gratitude for when before we stress. So instead of saying to ourselves like, well, I don't know the outcome, and I don't know the future, I don't know what's coming next. How about being thankful for how far you have come? What has happened in the past? How can we give ourselves like gratitude and a gratitude adjustment? It's what I just heard. So how can we give ourselves a gratitude adjustment instead of viewing this as like, it's just one more thing for me to stress, I don't really need more on my plate? If we can switch that to having gratitude for the things that we have done, or have conquered, or have learned, or how far we have come, or what things taught us in the past, if we have gratitude and have that gratitude adjustment, I love that. I'm gonna have to write that down. We can have a different kind of an outlook, and it's also like feeling hopeful when we're dealing with loss. That's a big one. Like, whether it's, and this is not necessarily loss of like human or a soul life, like an animal or a human life. It's more like, when I was thinking of this, is more of, I mean, when I was working with them as well, is more of like having that, like being hopeful for when things are out of our control and they change. So when one door closes, another door opens, right? We've all heard that. All of us have heard that. But when that door closes, we need to be confident that creator, God, source energy, the universe, whatever, your higher power, we have to be confident that that is in control, not us. And that we were naive enough to think, well, this is where I'm supposed to be. And the you know, this is how it looks, and I know what's to expect. And I'm, having that grace for the uncertainty sweeps back in and going, okay, well, you shut the door on this and I don't like it. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I have not had a temper tantrum when things started going awry with my job. And I'm like, what, this is where I was going to be forever. This is how things were going to look forever. What am I going to do? Oh my God, how am I going to da, 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 da? All the questions started coming in. And instead of being thankful for all the lessons and things that I've learned there, and how much that job had built me up as a person, and given me other tools, other qualities, taught me lessons, gave me a backbone, y'all. I could not, I don't know what happened. I used to have this, boss pants, and then I had kids and I turned into like, okay, I got on my own nerves. But that job really brought that boss pants back. And so instead of looking at it like that and thinking, well, what is next for me? If this is something that I absolutely loved and couldn't imagine my life without, and it got pulled right out from under me, and whether you love it or not, that feeling of that rug being pulled out underneath you, or that quick shift in your normal, really has a big impact on you. And so if you can switch it and go, oh my, instead of looking at like, oh my God, where's the floor going? Instead of going like, and you look up like, okay, grace, gratitude, grace and gratitude, grace for where I'm at, grace for this, for myself, for this feeling of this, turmoil shifting, and then gratitude for where things have been and where things are going. Like, I'm excited. I don't know what it is that I'm excited for, but I'm excited. I'm here for it. It's going to shift all kinds of things, your vibration, your frequency, your outlook, what you're calling into yourself, what you focus on. All of those things are going to start shifting for you. And the next one would be love before judged. What? So this is how this would look. If you always connect to the love before the judgment, which is so hard to do, the love for the situation, the love for yourself in the situation, before you go ahead and judge how you think you're going to do, how it's going to roll out. Again, jumping out of the present moment into the future, projecting all these fearful thoughts. Like, reel it back in, come up, back to where you're at, having love for where you're at in the situation. And loving before judging other people as well. So let's say you're at work and you hear something about a coworker and you automatically judge. Or you hear something about a family member and you automatically judge. Do you know all the details? No. What are you doing? You're forming some crazy theories. That's not loving. That's not having grace for that person, holding space. That's not being grateful for their role in your life. And it can get very messy, but do you see where I'm saying? Like, if you choose to look at the clear path, or you can choose to look at all the tornado hot mess of thoughts that can come your way. And those are the things that cloud our relationships with ourselves and with other people. And it muddies up that love feeling. And so how do we do all these things? Like, well, great. That sounds peachy keen, Amanda, but how do we do those things? So first and foremost, say thank you first. When something happens that's like totally up shit creek without a paddle and you're like, great, say thank you first. I'm not going to say, so Trisha Carr taught me this in, I don't know, one of the intensives. I believe it was the intuitive intensive, and if it wasn't, it was one of them. I don't know, but it was Trisha Clark who taught me to say thank you. And I thought, I was like, she's lost her mind. What? Say thank you to the crappy things that happen? Yes, I like it. Thank you, I like it. Instead of going, oh shit, now what? This is just terrific. Thank you. Thank you for what? Thank you for the opportunity to grow. Thank you for bringing something to my awareness that I wasn't seeing. Thank you for, thank you, God, or thank you, God, and me for looking out for me when I didn't know any better. And I'm telling you, the first time I did it, I will never forget. The first time something happened, and I don't remember what it was, but I remember saying, thank you. And I said it out loud, and I wasn't thankful at all. I said it with my mouth, but my heart was like, liar. And I kept saying it, and I kept saying it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And it switched. It slowly switched to where the last time I said it, I giggled. Thank you. Why? It changed my vibration. It snapped me out of that downward spiral of all those tornado thoughts. So that's the first thing that you can do. Stop measuring who you are by what you accomplish. Number 2. Oof, that's hard, especially when you're a planner, especially when you like to make sure that everything's are okay, and that you're okay, and everything is, and that you're accomplishing this, and that. Don't measure yourself by what you do. Don't measure yourself on your service to others, because that's not all there is. So don't measure who you are by what you do, what you accomplish. Don't measure that. Number 3, laugh more. It's just medicine for your heart. If you can connect to joy, you can laugh, and it's literally like, so you know how crying releases, hold on. Okay, I'm going to say this first because they're like, whoa. So babies, let's take babies. If you're a parent, or if you've ever watched a baby, or if you've watched a movie with a baby, even, the babies get on there and they just cry and they can't figure it out. They've been fed, they've been changed, they've been burped, they've pooped, they've peed, they've done it all, and they still cry. Sometimes they just need to blow off some steam. So they cry, and it's releasing. When we cry, we release. When we laugh, we release energy, but it's like maybe nervous energy. It can be, so sometimes I'm a nervous laugher. I will laugh when I'm nervous. I laugh when it's inappropriate. Like I'm the girl in church who laughs and then gets looks from whoever she's sitting with, because I just, whatever. But laughing adjusts my energy. So laugh more. Laughing increases your vibration. Something happens, and instead of getting all mad about it, you just laugh. Like, that's life. Go figure, So kind of connect to that, and start with yourself. So starting with yourself, everything needs to start with you. And if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to take care of other people. If you don't show up for yourself, you're not going to show up for other people. You're going to show up with an empty cup, and you're going to just dig yourself in a deeper hole. And you won't be able to naturally connect to the grace and the gratitude, because you're stuck in that tornado of all the thoughts that are clearing you, or that are not clearing, that are blocking your view to the grace and the gratitude. So if we put that first, it's our filter. And if we look at things through grace and through gratitude, and it's a practice, you guys, it's not like, oh, Amanda says, look at everything through grace and gratitude, so here's my grace and gratitude. Like, it's just not going to work like that. But it's a practice, and we cannot get down on ourselves. So number 5 would be let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. You have guys heard that saying, let go and let God? Have you experienced it though? Like, oh, just let go and let God. But when you really experience the let go and let God, it's powerful. Like, it's powerful. it's get me in my heart because I experienced it this week. And when you let go and you're like, God, you know what? Universe, you know what? Creator, whatever, you know what? I can't. You feel when you really say it and you mean it. When you mean it, you're not just saying it from, the top of your head. You're saying it from your heart. You're saying it from your all of your chakras are saying, I can't do this. I need your help. That love comes and scoops you up and it delivers you right where you need to go. It's an easier ride being delivered if you do the things that we mentioned today. But if you don't, you're going to kick and scream the whole way. And it's a practice. It's a practice. So many times I've been like, I let go. I can't do this anymore. What are you doing? I'm over God's shoulder micromanaging. Like, I don't know about that one. Okay, but that's okay. But I don't like that one. Nope. Well, I didn't let go. I'm my own worst block. I'm a work in progress. But if we can at least acknowledge where we are in this pattern and choose to every day choose grace and gratitude, it becomes natural over time. And over time, again, can be years. It's going to take me years to learn how to always let go the way I did this week. Just because I did it once doesn't mean the next week or the week after or whatever, Mercury retrograde every day, maybe, who knows, I have to do it every day. I might be graceful one day and not so much the next. But I also need to take into consideration if I'm not able to do the grace and the gratitude the way I want, the way that, would be most beneficial, where am I showing up for myself in the other aspects of my life? Am I overdoing it? Am I showing up with an empty cup to serve others? Because then my tolerance is going to be diddly squat when I need to show up for myself. And so I did write this one part down. So we can simplify our lives, but when stress happens and some things aren't in our control, like there's going to be surprises. There's going to be moments in your life where it knocks you, like pulls that rug right out. But if we can concentrate on the grace and the gratitude, even if we have to come back to that mid yank of the rug over and over and over again, you're going to come out stronger. You're going to be able to handle the hard stuff better. It might still not be fun and it might still hurt, but it's going to be better. And you're going to come out learning the lessons and being better for what you went through. And then at the end, you'll feel the good stuff will be sweeter because there's also the positive aspect to things. So just have to be intentional about practicing grace and gratitude. Really try to connect to that and always remember you can ask for help. You can ask for help. God, your guides, creator, universe, source energy is always there to support you no matter what is going on. So, grace and gratitude for your relationships, for yourself, and for just love in general. All right.